First thing that comes to mind when people hear hacking is that it's illegal. Well, that most often is the case, but it could also be thought of as manipulating technology to do something that it wasn't initially designed for. As for the legality, it is obviously illegal to hack into a bank's database and transfer huge sums of money into your bank account, whereas jailbreaking your phone isn't. Ethical hackers constantly look for vulnerabilities, which is obviously legal, whereas hacking into users' data and using them to manipulate election results isn't. In each case, the hackers try to manipulate existing software to make them work according to their own needs. Hacking, the way it's portrayed in movies and mainstream media, makes it seem fun, futuristic, and magical. Just enter a password, and in no time you have hacked into a government database. This is simply not the case. Well, that might inspire people to code. Most people are disappointed when they learn that it's not that fun, but rather it involves typing commands and having deep knowledge on how things work. In this video, we are going to be talking about one such open source tool that would help you in understanding how we can manipulate these things to work our way. We'll be talking about the tool, ways in which an attack is made, main features, and we're running the commands too. So let's start by understanding the tool. Let's talk about MITM proxy. The MITM in MITM proxy stands for man in the middle, a reference to the process we use to intercept and interfere with these data streams. The basic idea is to pretend to be the server to the client and pretend to be the client to the server, while the attacker sits in the middle decoding traffics from both the sides. The tricky part is that the certificate authority system is designed to prevent exactly this type of attacks by allowing trusted third party to cryptographically sign a server's certificate to verify that they are legit. If this signature doesn't match or is from a non-trusted party, a secure client will simply drop the connection and refuse to proceed. Despite many shortcomings of the CA system in its current form, this is usually fatal to attempt MITM, a TLS connection for analysis. The answer to this conundrum is to become a trusted certificate authority. MITM proxy includes a full CA implementation that generates interception certificates on the fly. To get the client to trust these certificates, MITM proxy is an open source proxy application that allows intercepting HTTP and HTTPS connections between HTTP client and a web server using a typical man-in-the-middle attack protocol. It typically focuses on content filtering or speed optimization through caching. The goal of MITM proxy is to let an attacker monitor, capture, and alter these connections in real time. The installation of MITM proxy is really simple. You can directly go to the website and get it installed depending on your operating system. The best part about it is that it is pre-installed with Kali Linux, and we have shown the demonstration in Kali Linux itself. Moving on to how it basically works. So the basic idea, as already mentioned, is to hide the true identities of both the client and the server while the attacker exploits the vulnerabilities. MITM proxy includes a full CA implementation that generates interception certificates on the fly. To get clients to trust these certificates, we register MITM proxy as a trusted CA with the device manually. Here we'll be talking about attacks on two different protocols, HTTP and HTTPS. So let's see them. First, let's see attack on the HTTP protocol. Here's a flowchart diagram to help you explain the steps that are required. For unencrypted HTTP connection, this is quite simple. MITM proxy accepts a connection from the HTTP client, displays the request to the attacker on the screen, and forwards the request to the destination web server as soon as the attacker confirms. To the client, it looks as if MITM proxy server was simply relaying its connection, and to the server, it looks like the MITM proxy server is the client. Here are the steps in which it is done. The client makes a connection to the server. The router redirects the connection to MITM proxy, which is typically listening on a local port of the same host. MITM proxy then consults the routing mechanism to establish what the original destination was. Now it simply reads the client's request and forwards it up the string. Moving forward, let's see how an HTTPS attack is taken place. So these are the steps to make an attack on HTTPS protocol. The client makes a connection to the server. The router redirects the connection to MITM proxy, which is typically listening on a local port of the same host. The client believes it's talking to the remote server and initiates the TLS connections. It uses SNI to indicate the host name it's connecting to. MITM proxy connects to the server, establishes a TLS connection using the SNI hostname indicated by the client. The server responds with the matching certificate which contains the CN and SAN values needed to generate the interception certificates. MITM proxy generates the interception certificate and continues the TLS handshake paused in step number 3. The client sends the request over the established TLS connection. MITM proxy finally passes the request onto the server over TLS connection initiated in step number 4. So while attacking unencrypted HTTP traffic can be done without having to deal with X.509 certificates, SSL encrypted HTTPS connections encrypt every request and response between client and server end to end. And because the transfer data is encrypted with a shared secret, a middleman cannot decipher the exchanged data packets. So, when the client opens an SSL connection to the secure web server, it verifies the server's identity by checking 2 conditions. First, it checks whether its certificate was signed by a CA known to the client, and second, it makes sure that the common name of the server matches the one it connects to. If both the conditions are true, the client assumes the connection is secure. So, in order to be able to sniff into these kind of connections, MITM proxy acts as a certificate authority, however not a very trustworthy one. Instead of issuing certificates to the actual persons or organizations, MITM proxy dynamically generates certificate to whatever hostname is needed for a connection. Moving on, let's see some basic functionalities that are there in MITM proxy. They mainly include intercepting HTTP and HTTPS requests, saving and replaying conversations of the HTTP responses. Also, reverse proxies to make the traffic move forward in one way, making scripted changes to HTTP among other functionalities. We'll be explaining about them in detail in the upcoming parts of the video.
Hello there, myself Nilay Sheth. My roll number is 181121, and today we're gonna see how to use the MITM proxy. So MITM proxy offers 3 ways in which we can use that application. So one is the web UI, second is the terminal application, and third is using its API in Python program. So today we're gonna see its terminal application. So to use MITM proxy, we open up our terminal and we just type MITM proxy command, and we can see that the MITM proxy has started. So by default it gets started on localhost port 8080. Now if we want to change our port, all we need to do is start with a flag listen port and set it to the port which we want to use for our MITM proxy. Suppose we want to set it for 6000. So our MITM proxy gets started on port 6000. Now let's just take it to default port. So I'm just gonna type MITM proxy and start it. So now let's send a request from another terminal. So we are going to use curl command, and we are going to set proxy flag to the address where the MITM proxy has been started. So it is the local host address and with port 8080, and this is a weather application URL which gives the weather information of different cities. So we just, and as you can see that MITM proxy intercepted our request. So here is the UI. It gives information of the protocol, the method we are using, the URL, the response status code, the response byte, the content type of our request. So let's send another request to, let's send it to Delhi. Okay, so we can see that it's capturing all of the requests. So you can switch back between the request by using up and down arrow key, and this is our focus. So if we want to get more information of our request, just press enter and we land into this page. We can see information of our request. So since we used curl, our user agent is set to curl. Then we have the response information, that is the content length, content type, and obviously the content. And yours is the extra details, like we have timing, client connection, server connection. So to exit this page, we just press Q, and you can see details of another request also by just pressing enter and just switching back between request, response, and detail. Okay, so now let's see how we can intercept a request using Metum proxy. So first let's clear this flow. So to clear this flow, we press Z. So let's clear this terminal, and now we are gonna set intercept. So to set intercept, we're gonna press I, and we can see that it gives us the command to set intercept. So first we type the U flag, which tells us which URLs to intercept. So we're gonna set it to URLs which have ending with Mumbai, and we're gonna set it to the request flag, that is only request would be intercepted, not the response. So let's set it. Now you may be wondering that how do I know these flags. So all you need to do is press question mark, and it will land it into this page where we can see all of our key bindings that Metum proxy uses, and also there is the filter expression which tells us the flag which we can use. So here is the Q flag, which is tells us about that only use request with no response, and if we want to intercept response, we can use the S flag. So now let's press Q and it will close down this down. So now let's send our request. So I have sent a request to Delhi, and you can see that the request was not intercepted. So if I send it to Mumbai, you can see that my request would be intercepted. There you are. So my request has been color coded into red, so which means that it has been intercepted. So if we want a request to forward it to server, we can just press A and it will get forwarded. As you can see, it took a lot of time, that is 15.7 seconds. Now if you do not want to fire up or send that request to the server, you can press capital X and a request would be cancelled, and we can see that empty reply from the server. Now how do I edit the details of the request? So all you need to do is first send a request, and then you can press enter and press E. In this you could see all of the parts which you can change. So let's change our path in which we are sending our request. So we are currently sending it to Mumbai, so let's change it to Delhi. Press escape and then press Q, and just press Q and just press A, and you can see that we got details of Delhi while we were sending the request from Mumbai. So this is how you can intercept the request. Now if you want to intercept the responses, all you need to do is press I and change our flag of Q to S, and let's set it. So now if we send a request to Mumbai, so all you can see that it has, let's go into details page. So you can say it has collected the request, and now we can intercept the response. So if we want to change our content, all we need to do is we can go press E and change the response body. So as you can see there, we can change the details. So let's change the title and just press WQ to save it, and you can see that the response content has been changed. We can just press Q to exit this, and we can just press A to let our response flow, and you can see that the title was changed. We sent the request to Mumbai, but we intercepted a response and changed that title. So now let's see how we can use the replay feature to replay our request. So let's first send a request. So let's set it to Delhi so it won't be intercepted. So as you can see that Delhi request was fired up and we got the details of it. Now to replay it, we just press R key and we can see that the request was replaced. You can see a sign here, as well as you can see that the timestamp was changing, and we can see the details of our replayed request. So that's it from my side, guys. So you can view more of its feature on its docs. So thank you.
I am Nishit Shah, roll number 1811114, and I will be continuing with the presentation. So moving forward towards with the features of the MITM proxy. So these are the main features of the MITM proxy, and we have clubbed them into place for better understanding that how two features combine with each other and how they are interrelated to each other. And we will be glancing over them one by one. So moving first towards the anti-catch and the client-side repeat. So when the anti-catch option is set, it removes the headers that might evoke a 304 not modified response from the server error. So it will remove these headers and we will never find this error of a 304. And this is useful when we want to make sure that you capture an HTTP exchange in its totality. And in the client-side replay, you provide a previously slaved HTTP conversation, and MITM proxy will replay the client request one by one, accordingly how we have saved the previous HTTP conversation. The MITM proxy serializes the request, waiting for a response from the server before starting the next request. That means it is in a serialized manner. If the first request is not completed, the second request cannot start, and it is often used like the anti-catch and the client-side replay. They both are used in the conjugation when we want to make sure that the server responds with the complete data, and we don't have to again and again replay it. The client side will replay it, and anti-catch will make sure that server will respond with the complete data only. The next is map local and map remote. So these are used to redirect the HTTP request to the local files or the directories. So the map local option lets you specify an arbitrary number of patterns that define the redirection of HTTP request to the local files. For example, if someone is trying to fetch an HTTP request, so instead of getting the original resource, the local file will be fetched instead of that, whichever the local file we have attached with that HTTP request. And in map remote, it allows you to specify an arbitrary number of patterns that defines the replacement within HTTP request URLs before they are sent to the server. The substituted URL is fetched instead of the original resource, and the corresponding HTTP response is returned transparently to the client. So we say that in map local, if you try to access an HTTP request, instead of that original resource, the local file resource will be set, and in map remote, we will substitute by another HTTP request, and the results from that another HTTP request will be sent. And moving next forward towards the other feature of modify body and modify header. So the modify header option allows you to specify a set of headers that can be modified, and new headers can be added and existing headers can be written or overwritten or removed. The modify body option lets you specify an arbitrary number of patterns that define replacements within the flows of the body. The next is proxy authentication and server-side replay. So in this thing, it asks the user for authentication before they are permitted to use the proxy. So these authentication headers are stripped from the flows itself so that they are not passed to the upstream servers. For now, only HTTP basic authentication is supported in MITM proxy, and the server replay option allows us to replay the responses from the server for our saved HTTP conversation. To do this, we set a heuristics to match the incoming request with the saved responses. By default, we exclude the request headers when matching incoming request with the response from the replay file and use only the URL and the request method for matching them. So moving towards the next feature, sticky auth and sticky cookies. So sticky auth option is analogous to the sticky cookie option. So in that sticky auth, the HTTP authorization headers are simply replayed to the server once they have been seen. So this is enough for you that it will allow you to access the server resource using HTTP basic authentication through the proxy itself. This when the sticky cookie option is set, MITM proxy will add a cookie most recently set by the server to any cookieless request. It will set the cookie. It will add the cookie to the recent used cookie to the cookieless request. And consider as, for example, consider a service that sets a cookie to track the session after authentication. So using sticky cookies, you can fire up MITM proxy and authenticate to a service as you usually would using a browser. After authentication, you can request authenticated resources to MITM proxy as if they were unauthenticated, because MITM proxy will automatically add the session tracking cookies to request. Among other things, this lets you script interaction with authenticated resources using tools like Widget or curl without having to worry about the authentication. Sticky cookies are especially powerful when they are used in conjugation with the client replay, which we saw above. It means that you can record the authentication process once itself and simply replay it on every startup type when you need it to interact with the secured resources. So these were the basic main features of the MITM proxy. Now moving towards the conclusion of our presentation. So we have successfully explored the MITM proxy and understood ways in which it helps us protect our application from man-in-the-middle attacks, that is the MITM attack. Using MITM proxy, we can capture and or alter the HTTP or HTTPS traffic of other machines in your network, such as the smartphone or the other laptop. Also, we can sniff into SSL secure HTTP connections possible in a very easy and a straightforward way. We have shown that capturing HTTP and HTTP traffics on your own machine was quite simple using Wireshark and Firebug. And sniffing was also a matter of seconds. But sniffing into some another's machine, another's mobile or a laptop was made possible using this MITM proxy thing only. So it is a good tool to be used for helping in getting sniffing into the SSL secured HTTP connections. Thank you.